fast. This is one of the best things about Dubai. They just, the UAE in general, they just make things happen so quickly.
Correct. You know, if
like
you look
no
at
other place in the world.
It's just to do that. I mean, if you look at Dubai and what they did with the Dubai Canal in, what was that, under a year, they moved a whole 5-lane road, put a canal underneath it, and nobody even noticed a thing. You know, and it was done under a year.
Literally,
it was
actually,
amazing.
no one was even affected.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's a canal now. Hello, beautiful people.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2024. Wishing everybody a happy, healthy, prosperous
and successful
2024. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be incredible.
What are we now? Episode
4.
Episode 4 of Talking Dubai Property. Hope you've been enjoying it.
It's becoming a lot easier.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
Yeah. The first 1 or 2 times it's very nerve-wracking, but now it's like, we'll just talk to each other,
having another chat, exactly.
And people just listen to us.
Exactly. So, 2024. This is the time where we start looking ahead and we start giving...
yes.
What are they called?
New Year's resolutions. So, I have many, as I always have had.
I've got quite a few.
Since probably 2013, 2012, 2013, I have a stringent, get all your ducks in order, out. Basically. But all broken down into loads of different sectors, and it really is my favourite time of the year. People think it's strange, but December also, but January in particular is my favourite time of the year. It's a fresh page.
I think it's
a new start.
Yeah. Family, health, wealth, put them all into categories, have a clear vision. And no, I think it's great. It's, look, December is always a little bit excessive,
crazy,
isn't it?
Yeah.
End of year parties, property finder,
Christmas.
this, that, and the other, Christmas. But it's nice just to get back into a good routine.
100%.
Wake up early, sleep early, gym, work, etc., etc. It's very good.
Also, one thing that's really impressing me this year is I feel like we're rubbing off on the whole office, and everyone seems to be, putting their New Year's resolutions down,
100%.
Making their goals. Everyone is super active. We were very lucky as an office because we didn't close over Christmas. I know a lot of companies did. However, we stayed and we didn't actually have anyone travel also. So we were very lucky that we took the deals from the market that were available to take.
Correct.
We had a very good December and one of our best months actually, surprisingly, in December, which is incredible. And it's kind of carried on into January. So this week has been phenomenal. I actually am negotiating an extremely complex deal, which is my favourite kind of deal to work on. And fingers crossed, today, tomorrow, I will be finalising that deal. And then I will tell you all about it on my next episode.
Give us the download of
this crazy deal. But yeah.
Oh, what's it going to be, guys? It's going to be February's episode. Jesus, wow.
I know. It is crazy. So, do you want to tell us, I know it's your favourite go-to thing, a bit of facts and figures, Christopher. I know you love it. So, why don't you give us an overview on 2000, I was about to say 13.
2013, that was a while ago, wasn't it? Just the year after I moved here. No, look, I think it's also a really, really nice time to 2024. Look, it's great to obviously set our goals, dreams, ambitions, everything else for 2024, which is brilliant. But it's also really, really interesting to look back on what went well, what you could change personally as a company, and it's also look from a business perspective and from a real estate perspective, and from looking at the Emirate of Dubai, the UAE. What has happened over the last year it's been incredible. It's just been non-stop. I've just looked at us turning 3. That's obviously the most important thing that happened in 2023, right? Jade and Co turned 3.
God, the time flies. So you've nearly been. It will be like literally nearly 1 year.
Be a year,
and
soon.
You would have. It's just unbelievable.
No, it's unbelievable. But look at Dubai. Everything from Royal Atlantis opening at the beginning of the year. that feels like it was longer than a year ago, right? With Beyonce bloody kicking that off, and COP28, IPOs. You've had Dubai taxis, ADNOC, Salik, corporate taxes come into effect. Casinos have been announced. It's all been happening.
But and it happens so fast. This is one of the best things about Dubai. They just, the UAE in general, they just make things happen so quickly.
Correct. You know, if
like
you look
no other place in the world.
Yeah. You know, the UK, it's just so much red tape. You know, they'll talk about it for 3 years before anything ever happens.
When I was like 18 that they were making a new bus station. I've recently returned the bus, and everyone's like, "Oh, the bus station is finished." I was like, "Wow, wow!" It
was the same with us, to be honest. I lived just outside of Brighton, and we always used to travel down the M23, and there was like a bottleneck where the road went from three lanes into 2. And honestly, first of all, it took them about 3 years just to work out how and get approval to open up an additional lane. And then it took them, I was going back and forth. It took them about 4 years just to do that. I mean, if you look at Dubai and what they did with the Dubai Canal in, what was that, under a year, they moved a whole 5-lane road, put a canal underneath it, and nobody even noticed a thing. You know, and it was done under a year.
Literally,
it was
actually,
amazing.
No one was even affected.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's a canal now.
But you know, again, I mean, if you look at the money that Dubai is spending on infrastructure in Dubai, and some of the projects that have been announced, I mean, look, Dubai is getting busier, right? 100,000 people roughly moved to Dubai in 2023. That does mean more people, more cars, more places in schools, more property, etc., but it also means that traffic. Has increased, right? So
the expansion, I think, is
this is it.
Now.
That's going to be the next thing.
That will be amazing.
Yeah,
especially for us because we're right next door.
Oh, correct. I mean, look, I live in Green Communities and DIP, and I'm driving past it every day, and the rate at which it's happening is just unbelievable. So that will be done before the end of the year, you know. So yeah, lots of things happening. But look, I mean, if you look back on real estate in 2023, facts and figures, you know, I love them.
Tell us all about it, Chris.
410 billion dirhams in sales in 2023.
Huge number. What is that in pounds? Just to give the UK listeners, like my nan and my father,
listen. Yeah, a currency converter.
It's a lot of money, Nan.
Hold on a minute, yeah. Nanny Morris, that is a lot of money. 410 billion dirhams is going to be, I think, just under 90 million pounds.
Billion.
90 billion pounds, correct, yeah.
Nan, 90 billion pounds in sales
into 2023.
Last year in Dubai.
What's really interesting,
unbelievable.
Look,
now I feel bad that like we should have sold like at least.
Oh, at least we should have exactly. We should have at least done what, 100 billion?
Exactly.
Now look, that is residential, that's commercial, that's land, that's absolutely everything. But that's a 54% increase on 2022.
Wow.
And don't forget, from COVID, you know, there was already huge increases that, you know, the previous years. It's incredible. You know, I looked at it. That's 133,000 transactions. That's an increase of 34% on 2022.
133,000.
Yeah, which is how many transactions a day? 364 properties a day are sold. Can you imagine?
That's crazy.
So look, it's suffice to say there's a lot of business going around, right? And I just think it's one of the things that we spoke about a little while ago was how Dubai is the most Googled place where you Google places in the world that I want to live, right? So more and more people just want to continue to move here. I think because look, why? Safety, security, you know, low tax, not no tax now. Not no tax.
Still
corporate
low tax
is coming in
when you compare it to the rest of the...
No, income tax.
Income tax hasn't come in yet, but let's be realistic.
It is going to come at some point.
It will. Yeah. However, you know, the pros of being in Dubai it's just such an amazing place.
Oh, it really is.
We are so lucky, and every single day I'm so grateful to live in this city.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
I mean, look, everything from ease of getting around. I mean, yes, there's a little bit more traffic. It might take you 45 minutes an hour to get from one side to the other instead of 20, 30 minutes, which is normal, which you can still do when there's no traffic.
By the way,
right?
in England, that's totally normal. I used to travel for like an hour each way.
Yeah.
And then buses, trains, people like standing miserable and it's freezing. Ooh.
Can you imagine? People are moaning now because it might take 40 minutes to get to work for some people instead of 30, instead of 20.
Just have to get up earlier, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Get up earlier, bit of meditation in the morning. No, but look, having everything on our doorstep, and also when the weather is the way that it is at the moment, there are just so many events and concerts and all the other bits and pieces that are happening. It's fantastic. There really is so much to do. So I think, you know, if we pull it back onto the property side of things, look, on average in 2022, capital growth has been around 20%. Okay?
Wow. Okay.
Which is really interesting because obviously an area that we're hugely specialised in,
is
Dubai
one
Hills,
of the,
was also exactly 20%, right? So if you look at the different areas, I mean, it was anywhere from kind of lower, kind of mid to high single digits, all the way up until, I mean, some of the areas, you know, increased by about 40%. I mean, it was crazy. But why is that? That's because there's still a lack of good quality supply, right?
And the demand, especially for Dubai Hills in particular, everyone loves the location. The community is incredible. Everything is there. I mean, we were there recently with all the restaurants that, you know, have alcohol licenses and things, and it's just so nice. The whole area is fantastic. The business park, the offices, it's an incredible place to work and to live. So I mean, look, the demand will keep on increasing in Dubai Hills. Look, there are a few more communities that will start to hand over this year. Golf Place 2 will come, which is one I'm very happy about. That will hand over this year. But there will be more to follow, the Lamborghini Villas, Elisab, Palm Hills. So there will be some more supply in the market, which for me is, in terms of pricing, is slightly concerning for the competition of the mansions. When you talk of Sidra and Maple, you will still have no competition.
Correct.
Because the other side of that lower end, there is no competition. But once you cross over now, there are, and I've noticed there are a few more bigger villas going on the market. So it will be very interesting to see in terms of that segment of the market, you know, let's say plus 20 million, what will happen.
Yeah. But again, you know, I mean, there aren't many areas where, when you look from a mansion perspective, you have what you have in Dubai Hills. You know, I mean, fine. What have we got? You can count on kind of one
Emirates
hand.
Hills.
I mean, the areas.
Palm.
Emirates Hills, Palm.
Meydan. District 1. Yeah. Look, Tilal Al Gaf will start to hand over. I think this could be. A lot of people believe it's a direct competitor for Dubai Hills. I would like to think so because I've heard good things about the quality. However, you cannot compare the location in my mind. The location for me is not comparable, and also it doesn't have the golf course.
Correct.
Yes, it has the lagoon, which of course District 1 also has, but it's not.
I think that you're going to be paying a membership for anyway if you want to use the major one.
Really?
Yeah. No, look, it's going to be an amazing community. There's no two ways about it. But again, you know, some of the best communities are it's golf courses, golf course, lifestyle, clubhouse. But again, I mean, if you look at Dubai Hills, as you say, the location
just has everything.
You are just right in the centre of
and not to mention
everything.
that you have a mall.
Yeah, correct.
Which does not exist in any other community. So
no, they put in community centres, etc., etc. But I mean, as I say, you know, we live in the green community. The mall of choice for Laura and my wife is still Dubai Hills Mall. The park of choice, you know, we're still there. Is still the Dubai Hills, you know, park, because they've just got so much for the kids and things, which is great.
So I can still see, but also as well, we there also needs to be we need to be logical also. The price now that kind of the Maples have hit and the Sidras have hit. For me personally, I find there has to be some sort of like stop point soon, not necessarily a decline because there is such a huge demand. However, just not necessarily such a huge increase happening on a monthly basis, because I mean, obviously yourself, you've sold, you know, multiple Maples now, so you understand like that is like the demand there is insane. The same for Sidra. It's insane. I
mean, we send out a report every month to all of the owners of Maple and the various different areas. I mean, if you look at it, 20% divided by 12, fine. On average, I mean, it's been going up about 2% circa a month.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, even in the UK, I remember, when property prices were typically going up around 10% a year, and that's a lot. That was still a lot, but it was a steady, positive market, right? I do think that will slow down a little bit in 2024. We're dipping into the forecasts now. I think what would be sensible would be somewhere kind of, mid single digits, but let's see, you never know. You just never know.
This is the thing in Dubai. It's like, that same question that we are asked constantly, even by like our best clients, like,
correct.
Tell us, advise us. As an investor myself, I don't know.
We don't know.
Like, I've listed my houses for sale, but also I've had offers, and then I'm like, no, yes. We are in the exact same position.
I know.
So it is. No one can guess. No one would have thought for a single second after COVID. Yes, of course, I was very optimistic, but I never would have guessed in a million years that we would have come out on the other side of COVID and this would have happened.
Correct. Yeah.
So it will be extremely interesting to see, what does happen. I think one of the main things that I do see happen, especially in Dubai, is that people get excited. So people get carried away. We've been on this bull run now for the good part of 2 years, 2.5 years. Yeah. Everyone, when that happens, they forget the bad times. Or not even necessarily the bad times, just the realistic times when the market was just stayed the same.
Yeah, so that was the downward part of a cycle.
Between probably 2014-ish, 15-ish, up until 2020. Like, let's say 16 to 2020, where it wasn't massively dropping and it wasn't going up, but it was just, it was just everyone, it was still, basically. And it was steady. And I think people easily forget that. Correct. And they get very carried away. And it is a good idea to just tread with caution. Of course, if you have unlimited money and you can, take risks, by all means. But I'm a person, yes, I like to take a small risk here and there, but I also like to be cautious and aware that we could be in 12 months' time talking about how much the market is
correct. I think
going down. So we should never get too carried away, especially for the new agents and the people that may be new into Dubai since 2020, because they've never seen that. So they believe this is what it is, and in reality that just isn't the case at all.
Yeah.
So what goes up has to eventually correct.
Exactly, it has to correct a little bit. I mean, it's all part of a normal, mature market cycle, right?
Yep.
But obviously, typically, what we find is that the lows are higher than the last lows,
correct,
and then
and
the peaks,
highs are
the
higher.
peaks continue to be higher than the last,
haven't
right?
We've already crossed.
We've already crossed the 2000. We are at a new all-market high. How much longer it's going to go on for, as we say, nobody knows, But again, with kind of treading into caution, one of our off-plan guys was talking to a customer the other day that, one of their kind of goals for 2024 was to invest in off-plan launches that they expect to have, high capital growth over the next, let's say, 12 odd months. And it's interesting because there's going to be a lot of people out there that are talking, having a coffee, having a drink, whatever it's going to be. It comes up, they're going to say, well, I invested in this off-plan property a year ago, 2 years ago. This is the growth that I had.
Yep.
I invested in this off-plan property. This is the growth I had. But it's very easy to say that, but with obviously the spike that we had post-pandemic, whether we're going to see that, 30, 40, 50, 60% that we've seen over the last couple of years over the next 12 months is going to be questionable.
Also, from my standpoint on how I look at the off-plan market and relying on prices increasing, they're also, and I don't think enough agents tell clients this, especially off-plan agents that are selling off-plan projects that do not hand over for 5 years, they will never tell their clients. But in reality, if you buy a property today, even if the market's going up, the market is on fire and it's increasing, but you buy that property today and that property is not handing over for 5 years, you will not sell that property in 1 year's time at a premium, because you're hoping to sell, first of all, you maximize on mortgage buyers, okay? You're still looking for a cash buyer, and any cash buyer, really, if they've got to wait another 4 years for the handover, they will just wait closer to the handover.
Correct. Or
and buy with a mortgage
or
buy off plan. So a lot of people think that the best business model is buying off plan direct, whereas I disagree. And I believe that if you want to try to make that increase, you know, you're hoping to achieve capital appreciation, buy and sell, your best bet is to buy in any off-plan community that is in the secondary market that is due to hand over within 6 months to 1 year. At this point of time, you will still have the owners that cannot necessarily make payments. Mm-hmm. You will have a few serious sellers, you know, that are skeptical of the market. Is it going down? So you will be able to maximize dev for a good price. So hopefully you will achieve a slight premium, or, you know, maybe closer to the original price. And then you will hold, and on the handover, the price will increase because you will have the mortgage clients that enter into the market at that point in time. So if you are a buyer and you're looking to buy, to sell, to make money, you shouldn't necessarily target these projects that are handing over in 3 years or 5 years. Target projects that are handing over in the next 6 to 12 months, buy on the secondary market and wait 6 to 12 months, and you will see that the price will jump on the handover. This is my sincere advice. Don't get me wrong, of course you can buy off plan and hope that the market in 3 to 5 years, when the property hands over, is higher or the same. But the chances are in 3 to 5 years, there will be another cycle.
Correct.
So I've seen, like, for instance, I saw in Maple, I was the first ever agent to enter secondary market in Dubai Hills. And I saw in the launch of Maple and Sidra that the project obviously took, you know, 3 years to hand over, 4 years to hand over. The buyers brought off plan at the original price. Before the handover, the prices dropped dramatically. So we had a point in time which probably lasted around 1 year, and it was very close to the handover, where the price of Maple was the best time to buy. And that was the secondary market closer to the handover. It was not off plan from the developer. Of course, later now, yes, the people that brought off plan, they are also making money, but they saw a cycle through. So for me, it's all about the time of entering. And many agents, especially if they're off-plan agents, they will just tell you, you know, you need to buy this. They will, because obviously that's their job to sell off-plan.
Yeah.
That is good for certain buyers, absolutely. Especially if you've got a long-term vision, you plan to rent it out, you don't mind if it goes up or down. But if you have that concept and game plan where you're only hoping on that capital appreciation within 6 to 12 months, buying direct off plan and wait for a project after 3 to 5 years is not the correct answer.
No, 100%.
Sorry, that was a bit of a rant, but
that's all right. It's okay to have a rant
it's
every now and
really
again.
Something I feel very strongly about, and I advise all my clients the same.
No, look, I agree with you, and I think when you look at the average time it takes to build a lot of these projects, apart from some of them that are a little bit smaller, naturally, you're right. It is 3 to 4, sometimes 5 years, with a delay, which is inevitable. It's going to be 5 years.
Look at Golf Place 2. It launched in 2018.
Yeah.
The handover's at there's been a delay for 1 year, and the handover's at the end of this year.
5 years. And if you think about what is the average time of a normal market cycle, roughly 10 years. Okay, so the chances are there is going to be a part of a cycle there, you know, during the construction. So what percentage do you think was off-plan sales, and what percentage do you think was secondary sales in 2023? It's really interesting.
I would say probably about 55 towards secondary and maybe 45-ish to off-plan.
Interesting. Off-plan snipped it slightly. 51% of the sales were off-plan, 49% were secondary.
But this is also, for me, personally, I find it a little alarming, because that means there's so many projects coming to market. From the facts and figures point of view, do we have enough people to kind of fill this inventory that's due?
We've got 554 total projects in the pipeline.
Wow.
Right? If you look at that, that's around just under 180,000 units. Now, if we're going to be breaking that down over, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years, plus there's going to be some new launches coming in. You might be looking at 40, 50,000 units a year being handed over, right? Population growth last year was 100,000. Look, if we keep up with that same level of population growth, which is the biggest question, we will fill it.
Well, for
but
me,
that's also if it gets delivered. If they get delivered on time, if the population continues to...
but also as well, it would be very interesting to know the figures of who the people entering are. Like,
correct.
Because are the majority of people entering millionaires, or are the majority of people entering like we did, 12 years ago with a vision to change our life, which I completely respect and agree with. However, it will be quite alarming and scary if we're being propped up by figures of real estate agents or people just coming here with a dream to change their life. That's
who probably won't be buying property, but
correct.
will be renting property.
But also, it's not just that. If the job is, if it's, we need money to circulate in the market, correct. So we need people coming with good jobs. And
look, it's also blue collar, white collar. Okay, obviously a large percentage of the population is a workforce that is building, constructing all of these properties as well. No, look, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it pans out this year and obviously over the next year. I mean, look, if you look back, we've broken a number of records. I wrote down some of the notable ones from 2023, which almost feels like a distant memory. I mean, if you think Mukesh Ambani buying the most expensive property ever on the Palm of 600 million dirhams.
Wow. Yeah.
Como, which was most recently an apartment,
Yeah.
just sold for 500 million dirhams. It was the Lighthouse before that, Bulgari Lighthouse at 410 million.
Huge deals.
Palm Jebel Ali, huge success.
Yeah.
Selling masses of inventory there. It's going to be interesting to see what records
will be
get broken in 2024. What are you thinking? 750?
Yeah.
Saying $1 billion?
A billion. Do you know what? It would be quite interesting to see that.
I think it could happen.
I believe also that's a possibility to happen. Speaking of us and what's next for the year, we're going to have a few more of our staff members come on. So next month, I believe we'll be talking all things Arabian Ranches.
Yeah.
We need other people on, which is Chris's job to find.
There's lots of requests. We're just filtering through them all now. No, look, we're gonna do some more spotlights with the staff, which are going to be fantastic. We then send them out to the communities, and I think it's great for everybody in the communities knows our community specialists, but it's really, really nice just to see a few of their insights as well. Also, sorry to cut you, but also from an audience point of view, if there's anything in particular that you would like us to discuss or you would be interested to learn more about, whether that be other agents or whether that's listeners, buyers, sellers, or anyone really just interested in Dubai that is maybe listening abroad, please feel free to drop us a message on social media, and we would really love to hear your opinion. Yes, we would. Do your swipey thing. Drop a message here or here. Thank you so much for thank you very, very much for listening. Make sure you subscribe, share it, like it, all of that kind of fun stuff. And we'll be back in a few weeks. Wishing you the best for 2024. We'll see you in a few weeks.